What is up, guys? This is the Sound Alchemist, and I'm joined here with
Gersh1.
And today we're back to answer your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. But question in front of your question, because we get to those questions first. And the snapping will make more sense once we get the question out. The question comes from Galileo D. What do you guys think is the most underrated race rivalry?
It has to be between the, the Sharks and the
Jets.
The Jets.
From
West Side Story.
I've never seen that story.
I've only seen like a scene at school, so I guess I need to see more of it.
But in all seriousness, what I would say is Orcs and Necrons. The Orcs were created during the War in Heaven by the Old Ones. They were genetically combined with algae.
Hold on. We need to put on your tinfoil hat first.
Yeah, to fight the Necrons. That's just something that's not really played out in the lore. It makes sense. I mean, the Necrons have been asleep, and the Orcs' origin is pointless to the Orcs. They don't really care about why they were built or who built them. They just care to fight. But I do think that it is one of those fights where it's like, well, if the Orcs were built specifically to fight the Necrons, then the Orcs should have some type of advantage, a natural advantage over the Necrons that other races don't have. Well, other than the Eldar.
Yeah, I'd say one that's pretty underrated, but in my opinion, I'd like to hear more about it, is basically, it's not like a rivalry, but the whole thing going on with the Black Library, the Thousand Sons and Ahriman, and the Harlequins. Harlequins is something that I feel like we've never talked about in a Greater WAAAGH episode.
In the Greater WAAAGH episode, we've never talked about it, no.
Harlequins are really badass. The aesthetic of them looks cool, but gameplay wise, there's not enough models. It's like you only have enough models to build one type of army, and then you gotta borrow everything else from all the other Eldar line. However, in the lore, they're pretty badass. They've got one of the last living Eldar gods on their side, Kegara, and they're always trying to fight off Slaanesh. But the whole thing with the Black Library and Ahriman trying to get in there, get some secrets, become super powerful to the point of being almost god level, chaos god level. That's crazy. That just shows you how strong the Black Library is. And it's like, if the Black Library is that powerful, why aren't the Eldar using it? So.
Yeah. The Dark Eldar race and just the Harlequins all suffer from the same thing as the Skitarii as well. We are playing a game that is supposed to be epic. It's supposed to have multiple units and 2 leaders and all that kind of stuff. And the model
2
line,
leaders?
2 HQs.
Coke? Oh.
Yeah, 2 liters of Coke. But the model line doesn't let you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Come on, GW, stop bringing out Space Marine stuff and just give us a little bit more units of Skitarii or Dark Eldar or what have you. Next question comes from Futurescaped. Why did someone like Lorgar, a seeker of truth and knowledge, go undivided and not Tzeentch?
I think he went undivided because he didn't want to pledge himself to a singular god.
Because he is a seeker of truth and knowledge, and it doesn't necessarily have to be only with Tzeentch. Mm-hmm. He understands that there's truths within Nurgle, Khorne, and Slaanesh.
Grind 121. Have you guys watched Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix? I honestly think y'all would like it.
Yes, I have seen it. Have you?
I haven't seen it, but everything I've seen about it looks really good, and it's something that I've always I always like having different animators as take on a broad subject. I think they did something similar to this with it's called the Animatrix or something like that. I saw it on Toonami years and years ago, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. There's the very first episode. Do you mind if I spoil it? Okay, so because the very first episode is 40K. Like, whoever wrote that story, like, they were intentionally trying to portray the 40K universe within this small animated short. And it's basically a group of people that jump into a what is it called? A stasis capsule thing, because they're gonna travel a long distance, and they travel through essentially what is a warp, and then through the warp they find out that they end up in like they end up light years away from their actual destination, and they travel through time. Okay, that's what the warp does to you, and then you find out that the captain of the ship is actually talking to a demon, and this demon is trying to seduce him to stay with him, Slanesh. And then at the end of the whole thing, like, the veil of reality that's within the ship starts to glitch in and out, kind of like the Geller field malfunctioning. And then he starts to see, like, the reality of this person, which is actually a demon. And the demon is just disgusting. It's what a demon should look like. It's like a tarantula-looking weird thing.
So where's like the whole robot part of this?
I mean sci-fi. Like it's in space, and it's dealing with like sci-fi stuff.
I don't know why, but that kind of sounds like the whole Cloverfield paradox.
Exactly, almost the same.
Okay.
That is something that I've noticed kind of sucks about sci-fi nowadays. When they try to do grim dark sci-fi, it's always 40K. Like it's always like the warp. It's always like some god that comes from like some other world, and he's triggered through the scientific like exploration. Have you seen what's that one movie that everybody tells us to watch?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, with the guy from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Same story, just shorter and quicker within this series. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out and you just want to enjoy a straight rip-off of 40K, you should watch that first episode. After that, they're all different.
Yeah. They're all like, what, 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah. Oh, there's this really cool one with the guy from that 70s show, like the main character.
Topher Grace?
Yeah, and like he has an entire civilization living in his fridge. It's crazy.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's crazy. Next question.
Speaking of like demons and such, T3 Manned 3 Alibird. Aside from Primarchs, what character of any race can take on a Demon Primarch one-on-one? And which Demon Primarch do you think would be the easiest to beat? Well, I think any named character has a chance against a Demon Primarch. But I'd say Mortarion seems to be the easiest one to beat.
Because of the story?
Yeah, like anytime he's brought up, it's like he gets his butt handed to him.
Yeah, he does. I wonder if he's a good model, like in the tabletop.
I mean, I played against him. Oh. He survived an HQ with a Thunderhammer, a group of 5-man Terminators, and 5 Sanguinary Guard.
Shooting or in close combat?
Both. Okay. Like, I shot him, I charged him, he survived like 3 rounds. Eventually, I had to like disengage, and then I shot him to death. But yeah, he was tanking a lot. So, in my opinion, he doesn't hit hard enough, but he survives long enough.
Makes sense.
So it was like a grueling battle.
How many wounds does he have, do you know?
18, something like that.
How much does Gilliman have?
Like 12.
It would be awesome to see Gilliman versus Mortarion. I feel like Gilliman would win. But yeah, Mortarion, I agree, is the weakest link.
Yeah, because when you think of the ones that are released, that's Magnus and with Zeech and Psychic powers. That's already putting you on a higher level, because you get essentially another shooting phase with like Smite and stuff like that.
Have you gone up against Magnus?
No.
No? Yeah, that'd be fun.
You should do like a Primarch Battle Royale.
Yeah. There's only 3 though right now.
Release Fulgrim already.
Next question.
This one's by T3 Manned 3 Alibird again. How would you guys create the end times for 40K? Who wins and how does everything else lose?
everybody loses because they get stomped by the orcs, and the orcs win just because there's so many of them. How they all come together, it would be awesome if God School actually does create the 5 walls that he has to do. So he has Apocalypse, he has, what's the one against the Tyranids? That I always forget. Well, whatever the Tyranid one is, and then he like gets 3 more. Yeah, the Octavius Wars or Sector. 3 more, and then like End Times, because the orcs are all over the place. They're just like plaguing the galaxy. I say, fuck the Tyranids. The Tyranids kind of occupy the same space as the orcs in that they kill you with numbers. And the same thing with orcs.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you?
I feel like it'd be pretty cool if, like, when the Emperor revives, he ends up taking a vast majority of human souls to bring him to the level of the Chaos Gods, but in real space. And in one way or another, he gets corrupted, and he starts killing everything, and at the end, it's literally just the Emperor in, like, a vastness of nothing. So, no one wins.
And then the old ones appear.
Oh...
Next question comes from State of Mind. What was going to happen to Conrad Curse if the heresy didn't happen? He rebelled right before the heresy started. The Emperor's children even had him imprisoned.
Mm-hmm. They thought he was crazy. Like, he was a menace to society and himself, so he's probably just going to stay captured. Or...
He was going to be another lost Primarch.
Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty cool if he became, like, the 3rd lost Primarch. Because he hates his own legion.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's like being plagued by visions of the future and stuff.
Next question comes from Grim101. Does Orc clan abilities get to be used in Kill Team? I don't know.
Yeah, we played Kill Team like once or twice.
And we didn't use the Space Marine abilities or the Chaos abilities.
So I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't really reflect to that type of game type.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is an interesting one. Defool06. Do squats have women? What do they look like?
Yeah, they're dwarf women.
They look like dwarves.
Yeah.
Like they have beards too, right?
Yep. Next question comes from T3 Mand or T3M and 3A Labird. Aside from the Space Wolves and Salamanders, what other chapter have animals into or ride animals into battle, and what animals are they?
I think the Dark Angels used to ride the massive lions on Caliban before they became... Well, I guess that doesn't count then. Because they used to ride them as when they were knights, like before they actually became Space Marines. I don't know if they still did.
I've seen some kit bashed models of like bike lions.
Yeah. I've seen them with bears too.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I don't think... Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Next question. This one comes from the Senate 2. Oh, no, that's not a question. This is from John Redcorn. We haven't heard from you in a really long time, John Redcorn. Hope you're safe. What is your opinion on Gunpla?
I don't know what that is.
That's why we don't hear from you anymore. Yeah, I don't know what you're saying.
This one's by Michael Howell. What happens when 2 Inquisitors have a serious disagreement? And they happen to be the same rank, and they only answer to the Emperor?
They fight each other. That's why there's so many schisms within the Imperium. The most significant one is whether you should use warp powers to fight the warp or not. And there's 2 factions that have broken. Most Inquisitors nowadays, especially like the named Inquisitors, fall under one of 2 factions. They either think that using warp powers is a positive thing, and they have they're usually followed by a bunch of what do they call them? Like the demon
hosts.
Demon hosts. They use a bunch of demon hosts. But yeah. Next question.
This one's also by T3 Element 3 Bird. How much life force does Commander Farsight take when he kills an orc boy, knob, and a boss? It's the same regardless, boy, knob, boss, space marine, anything. he takes the remaining life force from their intended lifespan. So say, it doesn't make sense for orcs, but say a space marine, or say just a regular human was going to die when he reaches 80 years old. And he ends up dying when Farsight kills him when he's 23. So those remaining 57 years gets added to Farsight's life. That doesn't really make sense because, like, aren't they fated to die when Farsight kills them? And technically they shouldn't have any life? Or in the case of orcs never die of old age? Or, like, they don't die of disease, right?
Yeah, they can die of disease.
Oh, I guess that's, if they're going to die of disease or, like, natural causes or whatever, I guess then that counts, but it's wishy-washy.
Wishy-washy. Next question comes from Robert Kopp. Which orc units are the best? Tank Busters and Death Copters.
And not Looters.
Yeah, Looters are a hit and miss, and then sometimes even when you do roll a D3 on their dice roll to see how many hits you get, and you have like a squad of 15, and then you get like your 30 shots. Like you were saying earlier, like 5 are gonna hit, and then 1's actually gonna wound.
And then they'll save that.
Last question.
Oh, let's see. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Defuo06. Can a severely wounded space marine refuse to be entombed into a dreadnought? And also, can they choose which type of dreadnought to be inside of? I think it depends on rank.
Yeah, because like if a battle brother really doesn't want to be a dreadnought, I'm pretty sure you just be like, no, like throw me out there. I want to die like this.
Or if they're part of the Iron Hands, they get like robotics.
Yep.
Bionics.
Usually though, a dreadnought is the last ditch attempt. So if you're denying a dreadnought, then that means that you are not really fulfilling your
a heretic.
Yeah.
Because it's an honor to be in a dreadnought because you continue to fight for the Emperor.
Word. Yeah. And those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, send them our way by commenting down below. Don't forget we have a Patreon where you can support us with a simple $1 a day. That's
$1 a month.
$1 a month, which is less than what you probably spend on paintbrushes for GW. Because what's a paintbrush at the GW store?
It's like $5-6.
Damn. But if you can't, we understand. Just commenting, liking, doing all that good stuff helps out. But yeah.
As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out of here.
Oh, if you could put my freedom first, and then